Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to COM 2200, sorting a few things out. One thing, if you notice, many people, and I'll put an announcement about that in a second. At your request, I have rounded up the test grades 10 points. When that happens, I move the average up 10 points, the average for the whole class. And so Canvas then recalculates everything. For some strange reason, that may make a grade come down. So if your grade has come down, then let me know and I will fix it. As a matter of fact, I'll make an announcement about that now. Hold on a second. On Canvas, curve up a grade. I will show you what that looks like right now. The instructor moves up the class average. When that happens, the instructor moves up the class average. For some bizarre reason, some grades actually move down. If that happens to you, let me know and I will fix it. So what I do is I move up the class average, which means some grades will move up. I moved up the class average 10 points. That doesn't mean everybody's going to get 10 points. It just means the average for the class moved up 10 points. Some people on the low end of the scale will get 12 or 14 points. Some people in the middle will get 7 or 8 points. Some on the higher end will get 4 or 5 points. That's just the way Canvas works. I moved up the grade for the whole class 10 points. So that's a pretty big curve. Hold on, let me get the dog. Probably the mailman or something like that. Welcome to working at home. Anyway, so that has been addressed. The next thing we're going to do is do a class, the next test. We were done with the last section of the class up to the First Amendment. So we are going to now work on the next test. And that will be that will be online Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. You have 3 days to do a test. There will be no class on Thursday. Use the class time to take the test. So there's really no good excuse not to take the test on time. This is why I didn't curve it last time. Until now, some people still miss the test because of COVID. I'm real flexible about that. So I waited to everybody took the test for me to set the curve up. So that's what happened. Now we have the next one, and here's the review. And again, feel free. This is why I like the synchronous class. I know a lot of you don't. That helps me interact with you. So if you have any questions during the review session, you let me know and I will fix it. Anyway, characteristics of mass media. Remember, we had a little video on that. First, uses a medium. You are separated, audience separated from the sender. If you're in the same room, it is not mass media. It uses media. From an organization. It's not an individual, could be a tribe, a channel, a Disney corporation. Even if it's one person, even if it's Miley Cyrus or whomever, that's one person. But she is, representing the Disney corporation. Using a technology. Using a technology. Is, someone ask, to reach a mass audience. Mass is undefined. I mean, the point is, it's not a text from your mother. It is a mass audience. A church newsletter, for example, uses a medium, the newsletter, from an organization, the church, the technology. Yes, it's either online or it's paper or print. Mass audience, even if your congregation is small, that's probably a mass audience. So we'll ask about what is the media a little bit. And here's an example. Are the cave paintings media? This happened a few times in our Ancient But Still With Us essay. Some of the things you mentioned are not media. A clock. Clock is old, but it's not media. Are cave paintings media? Use of the medium, cave painting. From an organization, a tribe, technology, again, cave painting, to a mass audience, we're seeing it today. Yes. Cave paintings media? Yes. Some people ask about sculptures. It is from usually an individual artist. So it's not an organization. Using a media, is a sculpture a medium or a technology? Kind of squishy. To a mass audience, a lot of people say it, yes. So probably not. I'll say mostly not. With exceptions, like the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty is from, okay, it's a medium, using metal and whatnot, from an organization, the country of France, using a lot of technology, reaching lots of people. So a Statue of Liberty, you could argue, can be mass media. Certainly a painting or a picture in a magazine of the Statue of Liberty, definitely. Live concert, no, you're not separated from the sender. Again, this is stuff that will come up a few times. Is something media or is it not? Why did writing start? To keep track of business, money. Making hash marks on clay tablets to know how many bushels of wheat or barrels of beer you have. That's why. What difference did the written alphabet make? It's phonetic. You can sound it out, thus speak it to a wide audience. Adaptable. The same we use the same alphabet in English, French, Spanish, and German. So again, it's very adaptable to different languages. It's spoken, easy to spread, project, print, etc. So you can really spread things out through an alphabet. Modern texts, many of you said so. Certainly the Bible, Iliad and Odyssey, a lot of the Greek and Roman culture. Why did Greek Empire spread ideas via print through the civilized world? They had a written phonetic language that they spread in the empire of Alexander the Great throughout the world. Caesar's Acta Diurna was our first daily newspaper, written all about Julius Caesar, and it made him famous. His rival Gaius Pompey didn't have the media, so more people heard of Caesar, even if he was not as successful as Gaius Pompey. But he became more famous in the empire because everybody wrote about him and read about him. Again, he was a media star. What media star became a leader of this nation in the past year or so, or last 4 years? I wonder who. See, history repeats itself. The Bible was translated, or Christianity translated into Latin. All the scriptures, the epistles, spread on Roman roads, etc., through the common Latin language, from Britain to Africa and the Middle East. Everybody wrote the same language, they were on the same roads, they spread not just Latin, but Christianity. How and why did Islam? Okay. Muhammad wrote the Quran in a common language, Arabic, and the word spread from France to India. The Muslims had the book, and you know, book is light, easy to read, and they were able to carry it throughout their part of the world. And The French stopped them at the Battle of Tours. How did the Western civilization survive the Dark Ages? Scottish, Irish, and English monks hand wrote Bibles and spread them in Latin throughout Europe. You had the few people who could read or write wrote down these beautiful Bibles by hand, copied them. They became educators themselves. They taught the kings of Europe about the Bible and taught them to read and write Latin. And that kept Western Europe together through the Dark Ages. How did Western Europe rediscover Greek and Latin? They went to the Middle East in the Crusades. And brought back old manuscripts from Aristotle and Plato. Yep, brought back these ideas. Democracy, literature. Julius Caesar, they rediscovered all of this stuff because they found all of these old books that the Arabs had preserved at their libraries, notably Alexandria in Egypt. They brought back not just the Bible, brought back ideas. The Gutenberg printing press. Again, you had, hey, mostly Bibles. Spread ideas and self-determination. You can read a Bible and say, aha, that's not what the priest says. Brought the idea of nationalism. You had books in French, Spanish, and German. It's not all Latin anymore. By using local languages. Politics, America stayed discovered. Other people had been here earlier, like the Vikings, but since the voyages of Columbus were in print, we stayed discovered. In religion, it started the Protestant Reformation. Before that, everybody was Catholic, but then they started reading those damn Gutenberg Bibles. And then they look at when they talked about the priests selling places in heaven. If you gave them enough money, people picked up and said, aha, that's not in the Bible. Ta-da. You have different ideas. Did advertising? First you made posters and then you put news around the posters. When did the concept of unbiased reporting come about? 20th century. 1900s, 2000s. We're not even near that yet in this class. All the stuff we're talking about is biased. Everybody expected it all to be opinions. They expected it all to be Newsmax. They knew that that's what it was. We didn't do any worry about bias until the 20th century. What does it have to do with the First Amendment? Nothing. Thomas Paine, Common Sense, spread the idea that America should be a separate, independent nation before the Continental Congress of 1776. Before that, we still wanted to be part of England. Didn't like taxes, didn't like what the English did, but it was Paine's pamphlet that said, aha, we should be a separate country, that made us a separate country. What do they feel about, what did the revolutionaries think about free speech? They didn't believe in it. They believed in persecuting pro-British press and ideas. The revolutionaries did not care about free speech. They just wanted their own speech. Free speech came later. What did Ben Franklin's press and media activities have to do with his political activities? They made him rich and famous, so he could afford to get into science and politics. He was a famous writer first. Again, what other media figures have we seen lately who became political figures? 5 protections in the First Amendment. Okay, big one. No state religion. First and foremost, the Establishment Clause says America will not have its own religion. But you can practice your own religion. Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Buddhist, what have you. That's the point. Free speech and free press. And some of the videos said free press is more important because that's how you spread your ideas of free speech. Free speech between you and me ain't much, but if I print 1 million copies of Common Sense, that makes a huge difference. Freedom to peaceably. I mean, you can't burn down stuff. But you can shut, yeah, but you can peaceably assemble. To redress government. You don't like something, you can complain. What does it free us against? Government. Private individuals and businesses can restrict religion. If you are a Christian group, you don't have to let in Muslims if you don't want to. and vice versa. And so Mark Zuckerberg in Facebook, he can cancel or keep you from saying whatever he wants you to say. I'm not saying I agree with that, but he can, because Facebook is private. But the government can't come in and tell them what Facebook can and cannot let you do. And being biased, nothing. They expected bias. Prior restraint, censoring speech or press before it is printed or broadcast. Why does that matter? Government will not be a censor. The government won't decide what is libelous. The government won't decide what is porn. We decide if we don't like something. Now, if somebody gets hurt, if there is incitement for riot, then after the riot happens, you can make somebody go to jail, but not beforehand. Zenger was the publisher who published stories about a corrupt governor and was arrested. But he got free because truth is a defense against libel and for free speech. So even hurtful things are allowed if true. Freedom to speak truth to power. If you're a poor German immigrant, you can publish things about the king or the governor as long as they're true. Alien and Sedition Act allowed the government to jail opposing speakers so Democrats could put Republicans in jail and vice versa. Government showed the founders had no clear intentions or ideas of free speech. It was a concept, and the concept evolves. Lots of stuff there. I will save and post this study guide with answers. Just after we're done with this. Okay. Who says stuff in chat? Okay. It was just, we got questions of somebody's name and identity. We figured that out. But anyway, any other stuff y'all have to, you want to know for those of you who are here? Any questions? Again, I typed them in. I will post them with answers soon as we're done here. And I will let the test go live tomorrow at 8 a.m. and it'll be due Friday. Secondly, if anybody had trouble on their test grades, let me know and I will fix it. It is a Canvas thing. It is not anything I do. You all set? Okay. I will post this shortly. And I'll have the video on there. So you can, the test is open book, open notes, open class, open video, open review. But as you saw in the last test, I am going to, for example, say, is this mass media or not? And you'll have to run through our definition to see if it fits. So I'm going to ask you to use the information, not just repeat it back. Usually this test gets a lot better than the next test, than the last test. Okay? Anyway, anything else going on? All right. Well, that's it. I will, again, no real class Thursday. Use the time to take the test. And I'll meet with you again next Tuesday. All right. Have a lovely afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.